Jackson Radio Show.
The difference here is that you now have a sitting president attacking federal law enforcement and literally trying to denigrate the Federal Bureau of Investigation. That is something new.
You know, you always hear this phrase that this comes out of Putin's playbook. Well, this actually comes out of an older playbook, the KGB's playbook. They had a 4-point plan for how KGB operations, propaganda, and agents were to operate against both the CIA and United States law enforcement. First one was to use activities that would demoralize, discredit, or disinform about their operations. Then they would go after individual agents. Then they would go after their leadership. Donald Trump is literally playing by the Russian playbook on this.
Those rascally Russians, man, you know, when you look at disinformation campaigns, boy, those Russians were at the forefront. Who else does that? Welcome, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. It's the Kevin Jackson Show. Welcome back. So, oh, by the way, KJRadio.com. If you want to listen, that's if you want to listen to the show anytime you want. And if you want to call us, 844-551-8255. So it's the Russian playbook. Not only is Donald Trump, elected by the Russians, and you've heard about all the collusion, he's actually got Putin's playbook. No, an older playbook, the KGB playbook, right? He probably keeps it in his pocket like a Bible. Those rascally Russians, they wrote the book on clandestine activity. If there was any playbook that you don't want Donald Trump to have, it is the Russian version. The Chinese playbook, is bad, but it isn't quite as bad as the Russians. Yeah, not quite. The Cuban playbook, I don't know, you get a cigar with it. Yeah, it's a consolation prize. But the Russian playbook, no, that's the most nefarious playbook of all. Because, those Russians, they studied this stuff more than any other culture. They've been around forever. You know how the Russians are. The Russians. Pretty soon, let me tell you something, folks. You may not be able to say the word Russian. It may be the R word, okay? The N word of politics is the R word. You know who's colluded with the R people, the R word people, because you cannot say Russian soon. Oh, no. They want you to understand how nefarious, how mean the Russians are, how wicked and evil. Not evil, evil the Russians are. So Putin's over there going, throwing his hands up going, what have I done? What do we do? We want to trade with everyone else like everyone else. Yeah, no. He's bad. And ironically, these communists that everybody's against, that is exactly what the left in America represent. Isn't it funny how I tell you that the left tell you who they are by who they demonize? Haven't I said this to you? I know you're out there going, that Kevin is amazing. That was some insight right there. The Russians are commies, and they will use all kinds of tricks to get what they want. You know what Russians love? You know how they infiltrated America? They used black people, and they used colleges and universities. Then they got their own operatives inside of government. I give you the Democrats. Bada bing, bada boom, baby. That's why you're here. Listen to the Kevin Jackson Show. I give you insights. I tie it all together. Oh, no, I'm not bragging. That's just facts, baby. They want you to demonize the very people they idolize. Go read the Russians, the Communist Manifesto, the Communist Party of America's platform. Put it next to the Democrats and show me the difference. I dare you. I'll wait. I got time. Shoot, I got nothing better to do. Ain't like I'm waiting on a paycheck. So anyway, yeah, go check it out. I'm just kidding. I mean, check it out, but not right now. You got stuff to do. You're paying attention, okay? Yeah, see, they want you to believe that they care about law enforcement over here. They want to protect law enforcement. Let me tell you what they want to protect. John Brennan, former CIA director from 2013 to 2017 under Barack Hussein Obama, tweeted this: when the full extent of your venality, moral turpitude, and political corruption becomes known, you will take your rightful place as a disgraced demagogue in the dustbin of history. You may scapegoat Andy McCabe, but you will not destroy America. America will triumph over you. He tweeted that to the President of the United States. Now, first of all, Donald Trump didn't fire Andrew McCabe. He didn't, but I'll get to that in a second. I wanted you to focus on the idea that the former CIA director of this country for the last 4 years, during the very time that we've been talking about, okay, all this period supposedly tying Donald Trump to the Russians, everything we've learned about the crooked FBI, everything we've learned about crooked Hillary, and what we're going to soon learn about crooked Barack Obama, this guy says he's the person in charge during this time of the CIA. And he essentially says America's going to triumph over the president, who he calls a disgrace, says will be a disgraced demagogue in the dustbin of history. Venality, moral turpitude, political corruption. All right? Now, an ex-ambassador by the name of Samantha Power, she warned the public not to, quote, piss off a former spy chief. By the way, Brennan, a communist, he was once a communist. And I'm just saying, this is Putin's Russia right in front of your face. They accuse us of treason. They want to impeach a president who has done everything he could to get to the bottom of this stuff. Samantha Power, now a professor at Harvard, former UN ambassador, married to Cass Sunstein, a member of the Obama administration, retweeted John Brennan's quote, his tweet. See, and Dan Bongino said this. He says, this troubled political hack was once the most powerful person, one of the more powerful people in government with access to troves of data on American citizens. Frightening. John Brennan, former communist, ties to the Islamic terrorism. I'm not exaggerating this one bit, folks. Go do your research. And this is what he tweets out. And you wonder why President Trump is questioning things? Here's what a guy named Kevin tweeted. Isn't it interesting that when Andrew McCabe gets fired for lying to federal investigators, James Comey and John Brennan quickly come to his defense? What does that say about the FBI and the CIA under their leadership? Let that sink in. Now you know why Hillary Clinton isn't in jail, isn't in prison. Patricia Dixon said this. The reason Comey, Brennan, McCabe, Powers, and Holder are speaking out is because they've gotten away with corruption for so long, they feel they're above the law. They are actually offended that they've been exposed and punished. I want you to understand, folks, how incredible it is that they would even question why we question the FBI, the CIA, the FISA courts, etc. How could we possibly question them? They've been running the government as corrupt as can be. Corruption is the way that it goes. How could you possibly question our corruption? How dare you, American people, and Donald Trump for exposing us?
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.